Hi, my name is Rishi Sankavali, and today I will be doing an economic analysis of the DREAM Act. The DREAM Act is a bill that was introduced to Congress during the Obama administration, and it aimed to give children of undocumented immigrants the opportunity to pursue the American dream without legal repercussions for a decision that they were not responsible for, and will be championed by Illinois Senator Dick Durbin, who has been advocating for the bill since its inception in 2010. Dream Act? The Dream Act is needed because it is punishing people who are completely innocent. By not letting these children obtain permanent residency, it is preventing them from continuing to contribute to the economy, whether that be through sports, academics, or music, just like US citizens. In addition, using statistical evidence, we also see that an undocumented immigrant who was allowed to go to college and pay taxes would earn the government more in tax revenue than a high school dropout. Passing the DREAM Act would be a logical first step to integrating undocumented citizens into our country because Dreamers are a much smaller portion of the population than the entire subset of undocumented immigrants. Dreamers would have to remain in the country for a prolonged period of time and prove that they're being productive and staying out of trouble. This would prevent families from bringing back additional children from their home countries because the law would only apply to children that have already resided in the US for a period of time. The first major opportunity cost that I see of approving the DREAM Act would be the loss in benefits to American citizens who go through the arduous process of applying for citizenship legally. The DREAM Act essentially reduces the incentive that undocumented immigrants have to try and apply for citizenship because the DREAM Act would allow the children to get all the benefits of citizenship that the parents desire without any of the risks associated with citizenship. The DREAM Act can also have a potentially dangerous snowball effect because when one family moves to the States, many of their relatives and friends inside of their family circle will also follow due to a perceived decrease in risk of deportation. And this influx of immigration may prove to be too taxing on the American economic system, which is already being stretched thin with regards to its welfare payments. A monetary cost of approving the DREAM Act would be the subsidization of higher education for Dreamers. Assuming no fraud, we can conservatively estimate that 1.03 million undocumented immigrants will eventually enroll in public institutions. On average, each undocumented immigrant who attends a public institution will receive a tuition subsidy from taxpayers of nearly $6,000 for each year he or she attends. This amounts to a total cost of $6.2 billion per year. The assumptions in the previous slide are conservative in nature due to the fact that it assumes all students in the above estimate will be attending community college. If they were to attend four-year universities, the cost would be anywhere from 25 to 50% higher, and this variance can be attributed to the fact that many states have multiple university systems with different tuitions, like California with the CSU and UC systems. The first benefit of the DREAM Act would be undocumented immigrants pursuing more skilled careers and positions. After being granted legal status, over half of previously undocumented immigrants moved to better jobs more in line with their skills and experience, showing that undocumented immigrants have the opportunity to help the economy in a myriad of ways once the stress of being deported is alleviated. Without the DREAM Act, it is estimated that about 20% of undocumented immigrants will pursue higher education. With the passage of the DREAM Act, this number jumps to 25% in 2030. 5% may not seem like a lot, but based on the assumption that there are 12 million undocumented immigrants in the United States, this would be an astounding 600,000 additional undocumented immigrants pursuing bachelor's degrees. This is further evidenced by a RAND study that showed that a 30-year-old Mexican immigrant woman who graduates from college will pay $5,300 more in taxes and cost $3,900 less in government expenses each year than if she had dropped out of high school. This amounts to an annual fiscal benefit of over $9,000 per person every year, money that can be used to pay for the education of others. The first winner of the DREAM Act being passed are the children of undocumented immigrants, who will now be given the opportunity to pursue their dreams and goals without fear of arrest, deportation, or family separation. This will give immigrant families a better opportunity to remain united, as when they become separated, it is very rare for them to reunite at a later date because of ICE rules. The second winner of the DREAM Act would be the skilled trade market. As more and more Americans attend college every subsequent year, there's an increasing demand for these specialized trades that aren't offered at traditional universities. It has been proven that recipients of the DREAM Act pursue skilled trades at a significantly higher proportion than native born American citizens. The first loser of the DREAM Act would be American taxpayers who would have to foot the bill for subsidization of college education for all DREAM recipients, especially considering the fact that although the bill is being pushed through federal government, it is the state and local municipalities that will have to cover the tuition subsidy for Dreamers, putting a more intense strain on individual taxpayers. The DREAM Act will increase the supply of minimum wage labor since many undocumented immigrants who previously had to take jobs under the table can now take legitimate jobs. This will lead to average wage rate dropping in the entry-level job market, but won't have much of an impact on the overall labor market like many people falsely claim in the media. The demographic group that will be most heavily impacted by the DREAM Act would be American-born millennials, as that is a group that Dreamers would be competing with for jobs in the labor market initially. However, it has been proven that immigrants help fill the labor demand for roles and positions that native-born citizens don't pursue, or roles that have insufficient supply in the labor market. Overall, I think the DREAM Act is a good policy, and there's a lot of potential benefits that it can provide to undocumented immigrants. And by allowing these immigrants to prosper, they can in turn build up the communities that they grew up in and give back to the United States through increased tax revenues and decreased welfare liabilities, by way of being given the opportunity to reach their full potential. What makes the DREAM Act hard to pass is the fact that the benefits discussed are based on future forecasts and predictions, whereas the costs that need to be incurred will come to fruition right away. This makes it hard to lobby the bill to taxpayers who may not be able to immediately see the benefits necessary for them to overlook the monetary and opportunity costs of passing the bill. I would convince stakeholders to support this policy by recommending a slow rollout of the policy where only a subset of the total eligible population is given Dreamer status. This would prevent costs from being excessive and would make it more likely for political members who were previously opposed to the bill to support it, because there is less at stake if the bill is passed and ends up being a failure for whatever reason, whether that be a breach in security or unforeseen costs. Finally, I would also use personal anecdotes about immigrant children's lives being torn apart by ICE to evoke pathos behind my proposal. The entire economic analysis so far has been quantitative measures because these are easier to compare and contrast. However, the pathos is what will drive our point home by attaching a mental image to all the data and statistics that are presented.